unfiltered and unapologetic. She's in your face like, yeah, bitches, I said it. Authentic heart, honestly, really decidedly talking my life and all the betweens. She's Candidly Casey.
Hey guys, it's me. Welcome to Candidly Casey. First of all, I can't even believe this is happening. And if you're seeing this, this is mostly because Tony Barato sat down with me and showed me how to edit this to actually get it out there. So before I even get into any of this, huge thank you to him. He also made the intro video. Mike Tate made the music and Holly Sherman did the graphics. So this has been like a collaborative effort. It's taken me years to do this. I don't know why. I've gone live on Facebook and Instagram and all of that shit for so long. And then one day I woke up and I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm getting censored. Everything I say is a problem. I'd rather just have my own podcast where I can say what I want, when I want. And here we are. So if you're here for this, welcome and thank you for being here. It's only going to get better from here because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of kinks to work out. But that's okay. I'll be keeping it candid the entire time. This first episode, I wanted to talk about something that is very personal to me because it's something I'm dealing with and have been dealing with for years. And that is perimenopause, a term I had no idea about until I did a health coach training program and they happened to have a segment on perimenopause. And I remember thinking, what the fuck is that? And then as they were going through and saying all the symptoms, I was sitting there at 38 years old and I'm like, well, that's actually what I'm going through right now. And this is crazy. I've never heard this term before and that there's actually help. So perimenopause, for those of you that don't know, it's okay, I didn't, is the transitional phase before you get to menopause where your body starts producing less estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. First of all, dumb moment here, I didn't realize that women even had testosterone. I thought that was something that was strictly for men. I also didn't realize that men had estrogen. So this was kind of all confusing to begin with. So yeah, your body starts producing less of that and then you start getting brain fog, which I would say is the worst part of it. Your sleep is disrupted. You start to feel crazy. You have mood swings. Your libido is like non-existent. I woke up one morning and I was like, what is wrong with me? I feel like I'm in somebody else's body. There's weight gain, could be weight loss, but I've personally never met anybody who lost weight during perimenopause. The only time somebody had said that to me that they did, I also found out that they were on Ozempic. So it wasn't exactly the perimenopause that did it, but I know that that can happen. I've just never personally known anybody that that's happened to. I experienced the weight gain part of it. I've gained about 30 pounds. So I am at my fighting weight right now. You know, some days I like it and some days I don't. Getting dressed is interesting because nothing fits properly. And that's like a whole nother thing, but it just overall didn't feel great. I didn't feel like myself. So I was 38 at the time. I said to my husband, I'm like, I just learned about this in school and this is really weird because I'm experiencing a lot of these things and I want to start looking into it. So I did. I suffered, I would say, like with that pretty hard, like by 39, 40, I was full swing. And I said, you know what? I feel so bad. I need to go do something about this. So I found a place that just does perimenopause and menopause. That's it. And it says for your second act in life. And I'm like, all right, I'm in the fucking right place. And they started by testing my hormones. Blood work immediately was done. They could see where I was at. They were like, yep, you're in perimenopause. Okay, cool. Now, the thing is, a lot of times people will say, well, perimenopause doesn't start until you're in your 40s. That's not true. It actually can start in your 30s. Like if you're 35 years old and you're listening to this and you're experiencing these symptoms that I'm talking about, it's definitely good to go get checked because there's no exact map for how this works. So for me, I remember when they were like, well, you are a little young for this. My mom was done menopause, like over at 45 years old. I'm 43. I'm 2 years away from that if I'm following my mom's path, which it seems like I am. Now, speaking to my mom, she had no idea about this either because I talk about this a lot online because it's insane to me that nobody ever mentioned this. None of my doctors, like nobody. I feel like I'm in the ocean swimming by myself. I don't have a canoe. I don't have a paddle. I don't have a life vest. And I'm trying to keep my head above water and do all this research and help myself and feel better. And then I'm talking about it and all of these other women are like hey, I'm feeling the same way. What do I do? And it's hard. It's hard. So that's why I'm talking about it now. Not that I like talking about my weight gain, not that I like talking about my sex life, but I just think it's important because I know there's a lot of women out there dealing with the same stuff. So here's the journey that I took. I'm not saying this is the right way. I'm just letting you know this is exactly what I did and how I'm feeling today. Spoiler alert, much better. So I started with this company. It's called Midi, M-I-D-I. It's joinmidi.com. That's where you would go, see if they take your insurance. It's all virtual. They are not sponsoring this, which one day I hope that they are, because I am very, very passionate about this company so much. So I met with the person, did the blood work, went back. I had started an estradiol patch. And I remember saying, like, listen, I am very sensitive to things. I need it to be like the most low dose possible because I do get headaches and I don't want to have anything that's going to happen like that. And so they prescribed a patch. By the way, before I did this, I did go the natural route because that is more my speed. I did the yam cream. I did all of the stuff. It just didn't work for me. And that's okay. And that's what took me so long to actually make the appointment, because I was really, really struggling to do all of the natural remedies that I looked up, that my friends were telling me to try, and just nothing was working. And I was spending like $150 on this salve and $100 on that. And it just was too much. And I was like, I just need to see. So when my levels came back and I was actually able to see that, I was like, all right, like this is the problem. So the first patch that I took, I put it on, had a migraine like I can't even tell you. It felt like my head was in a vice grip, just getting squished. And I actually had a friend come visit me. She was coming over for like a week. And the first day I literally was like, I couldn't even open my eyes. I was laying there with a damp washcloth over my eyes. I felt horrible. And I wrote them and they were like, take the patch off. Took the patch off. It took 12 hours. And then it finally went away. And then I stopped because I was like, all right, I obviously can't do this. This isn't going to work for me. And I waited about 4 months. My symptoms kept getting worse. And then I looked into it and there was way more options than the patch. So I said, let me switch providers within the company. That's what I did. Met with somebody else and they were like, yeah, patch isn't a great idea if you're looking for like the lowest dose. You want to try the gel. So I was like, all right, let's do this. Tried the gel, 0.25, had no issues. I was taking progesterone at night. I was sleeping through the night, which was new for me because I was sleeping fine. And then all of a sudden when this started, I was up 2 o'clock in the morning, sitting there, thinking about shit that happened in first grade, thinking about my shopping list, thinking about stuff that I had to do during the day, thinking about just ridiculous stuff that I shouldn't have even been thinking about. And I couldn't sleep. And then I would start my day very tired. And it just was going on and on and on like that. The progesterone was 100 milligrams. It has stayed that way. It has helped me sleep. Wonderful. The estradiol, I eventually bumped up to 0.75. So I was at 0.25, then 0.50, 0.75. Perfect. Didn't want to do testosterone because I was afraid that I was going to grow a mustache, or I don't know what I thought was going to happen. You have to like get the talk and hear all the scary things. And I felt really good, but I felt like I was missing something. So this is now a year that I've been on this, just progesterone and estradiol. And I met with my provider again. And I said, I think I'm going to do testosterone. Like, I think I'm ready. I think I want to at least give it a shot and see what that does for me, what it could do. If I hate it, I'll just stop taking it. It's a compounding pharmacy, so it's more tailored to women. And I have to tell you, that was the best thing I ever did. I wish I started testosterone a year ago when I started the estradiol and progesterone, because that is really what made the circle of shit close. Like, I finally felt better. I have energy. My libido is through the roof. I'm actually getting on my husband's nerves because I'm constantly like, yeah, right? Which was such a change for me because at one point I didn't think I was a lesbian. I just had no interest in sex at all. Like I was like, if I go the rest of my life and never have sex again, like it's fine. That's truly how I felt. And now I'm like, oh, bitch, you're back. Okay, you're fine. Everything's fine. Not that, dabbling in the lady pond is against my anything because I've done it before, but I'm a happily married woman who wants to have sex with her husband. And that was the key that was missing because I just had no energy. I would think about it and then I'm like, okay, and I'm done, right? That's how it was. The weight gain, I have not gained any more weight. I've stayed at this weight. I also have to be completely honest, I'm not exercising. So I know I need to incorporate that. But the good thing is now with the testosterone, I actually have the energy that I feel like I'm going to now. Like I wake up and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to start the day. I haven't felt like that in a very long time. I did have hot flashes. They've stopped. The crazy thing and why I'm doing this for the very first episode is because so many people ask me, and I'm not just saying so many people ask me about this because I do talk about it online a lot. And there's so many women who say to me every single day that they are struggling. And I'm like, go to this, join Midi, go to join Midi, blah, 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 blah. So it's like, I know I've been doing this and I know people need to hear it. And that's why I'm talking about it. Again, I prefer the natural route for most things. I wasn't like that growing up. And as I've gotten older, that's just how I do stuff, right? But with this, I had to make the decision like, okay, you are absolutely miserable. And just, I felt horrible. And I said to my husband, I'm like, listen, I'm going to do this. I know that there's side effects, right? If this is going to take a few years off of my life, but I'm getting quality of life now, it's worth it to me. And we had that conversation. And I'm not saying it's going to, I'm just saying you take something, there's something that kind of, it's just the way it is. So that's how I feel. And I've felt like that and I'm good with it. And I'm definitely more open to whatever is going to make me feel better, whatever that looks like. So it's been wonderful. I am very curious to see what's going to happen with actually hitting menopause because I went 87 days without getting my period. So I thought I was done. I was like, oh, this is going to be it. You are full blown over it when you haven't had a period for a year. But I've always been like an every 28 day, like on the dot, 4 o'clock in the morning, I wake up with it. Like that's how specific it's been for me. So when I went 87 days, as embarrassing as this is, I took a pregnancy test because the only times I was late were the times I was pregnant. So after like 3 weeks, I said to my husband, I think you should stop and get a pregnancy test. And he was like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, this is weird. Like I've never experienced this before. Of course, no, you're not pregnant, bitch. You're not pregnant. Okay. It wasn't that. It was very much like life is moving forward. And I felt bad because he was like talking about it and what that would look like and if we did and what he would want. And then I kind of started and then I was like, what are you fucking doing? And then I quickly was reminded like, no, you're getting older. That's not happening. And you just went 87 days without getting your period. And now it's like completely off schedule. So it's a surprise every day. You just don't know. And I think a lot of it is kind of embracing the suck of what this is and trying to push forward. But every time somebody messages me and I'm able to say, I'm here, I'm going to support you through this, like I really mean that because I know what it's like to be sitting there completely confused because you're like, what's happening? The only way I can describe it is you wake up one day and you're not in your body anymore. You feel like you've completely lost control and nothing is the way it was. And that's it. And that's a really scary thing to feel, but that's what it feels like. So if you are married, this is the kind of shitty part about it. If you are married and you don't have that support system and you're confused and you don't even know what perimenopause is and you just wake up one day and you think you're fucking crazy, right? And you might look at your husband and think, I'm not in love with this man anymore, or I don't want to have sex with him, something must be wrong. And you don't realize that like your hormones are so out of whack, it's tricking you into thinking all of these things. And I think that's why a lot of people get divorced because it's confusing. And if you don't have that support and the knowledge and the whatever, it's a fucked up time. It really is. I also did some research, which this is what really scared the shit out of me. I'm just looking this up so I'm not quoting anything wrong. I'm very much a person who likes to do research. So if I'm saying something, It's because I already did that. Now, when I started doing this and I realized that so many people were going through this, and by the way, people can experience perimenopause symptoms for like 20 fucking years, okay? Because you can get it and then not end your period for 20 years. That is 20 years of your life where you're feeling your worst, right? Hopefully it's not that long for everybody, but I'm just saying. So I started looking up the age range for women most concentrated who end their lives, because I just had a feeling that that coincided with what I'm talking about. And I looked it up, and it is between 45 and 64 years old. And I'm like, oh my God, that's when I really was like, I need to talk about this. Now, I personally never felt that way. I never woke up and felt like that. But I can absolutely understand how somebody who doesn't understand what's going on just wakes up and feels like they're fucking crazy. Maybe they're getting gaslit by people. Maybe they are in a terrible marriage, and then this also happens. But the fact that those numbers match up to what I'm talking about is why I'm so passionate about this, because it's a scary fact and it's very real. And I just want people to be able to get the support that they need. I mean, if that doesn't freak you the fuck out, I don't know what would. Believe it or not, we're going to take a small break to get a word from our sponsor. Yeah, can you believe this is sponsored? Because I almost couldn't. It's sponsored and by one of my absolute favorite companies. This episode is sponsored by Boron. Since 1932, Boron has been dedicated to providing high-quality medication made from Earth's best resources. As a world leader in homeopathic medicines, they're passionate about sharing sustainable health solutions for the whole family. You can find Boron medicines at retailers nationwide. Learn more at boronusa.com. And on a personal note, I've been using Boron products for years. This is the dream sponsorship for me. I have their entire collection. I talk about them all the time, and I absolutely love them. And thank you so much for sponsoring this. I think it's really important to say too that there is not one size fits all when it comes to perimenopause or menopause. So if you are feeling any kind of symptoms, you're just feeling off, you're not sure what's going on, it's best to just take a look into it instead of doing what I did and try this cream, try this pill, rub this here, put that there, and then nothing is working. So don't go crazy and don't feel bad about yourself if you normally do the natural route and it's not working. Look into everything, because at the end of the day, whatever makes you feel better is best for you. That's it. And I could throw everything into that because I've pretty much been living my life that way, especially now that I'm in my 40s. I just want to wake up and feel good so that I have energy, so that I can do things with my kids and my husband, and I'm not like gassed out doing everything, because sometimes that's what it feels like. Parenting is hard anyway. It's exhausting in the best way, and you don't want to be overly exhausted from shit like this. So that's my little rant. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm happy to help. And if there's any topics you want me to discuss on this podcast, please let me know, because I am an open book. Like I said, from motherhood to menopause, being married, I've been divorced, I was a single mom. I've pretty much done it all, and I'm ready to talk about it. Thank you so much for being here for this first episode. This is so exciting for me to be doing this. It's going to drop every Tuesday. I might have some bonus episodes in between, but you can be 100% sure I'll see you next Tuesday.
Can't wait.